Hello, stellar people, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Trey, and today is the start of inking season. And today will be a setup day where I will go over the tools I use in brief, because I have some other videos with the tools for inking. But also, I'm going to go over what's going to happen in the month of October, which will be some setup and some studies for a character that I like to use, Lord of the Silver Hand, but also some works by other artists that I love. And I like to test out my skills with their work. And then in the month of November, we're going to go through a whole process video of an illustration for Lord of the Silver Hand in inks, going from thumbnailing to sketching to rough sketch, tight pencils, all the way through to the inks, and then finally the final with all the spot blacks and whatever else I need to do for it. So that's the plan. So let's talk about the tools I use. So here are some of the tools that I'll be using throughout this whole inking season. We have, let's start over on this side. We have our brushes. These are actual brushes with synthetic fibers or animal hair. Like this is a Series 7 Sable number 3 and number 2. Yeah, number 3 and number 2. As you can tell from the tip that they are different. Newest has a better tip, and at the end they get kind of frayed. And so that's a new tip, a frayed tip after years of use. I kind of beat these things up. So that are brushes, natural brushes. And then we have our synthetics that I use for everyday use. I usually break these out when I'm getting fancy. These are more for everyday use because they're more disposable. These can be rather pricey. Like I think one of these is, I think $30. And that's kind of an investment for a brush that you will destroy. So synthetics are cheaper and they're great to learn from. And then I have my nib pins. And with nib pins, this is a crow quill. And this is a G pin. And these are great for inking. If you want a nice, steady, consistent line, you can get that. Well, I feel like I get that better with these. Although I still need more practice, but that's why we're here. So yeah, a crow and a G. And this is just a holder for the nibs. So over here we have the microns and the Copics, and these are more mechanical pens. And we go from small to large, and we have a 005, a 01, 01, 03, 05, 08, 10, and a 12. And so yeah, it goes from smallest. This is the smallest nib micron that I have. Here's a comparison of nibs or tips of pins. This is a 12. This is a 005. So 12, 005. And we'll be testing these out a little bit later. And I have also some Copics, 03, 05, a brush, and a 1.0, which is fairly thick. So we have a 12 and a 1.0 in tips of a Copic and a micron. Micron, Copic. Micron, Copic. So again, this is a 12 and this is a 1.0, and they're both thick pins or on the thicker end of the spectrum. And of course, when you ink, you'll need ink. So I have Super Black Speedball, which is my usual go-to. I have some watered down in this nice glass bottle, some watered down inks for my ink washes. I have another black Sumi ink, Yasutomo, and these are what I do for my spot blacks. For large areas of blacks, I use the brushes, but usually I start with either a brush, mechanical brush, or a pen, and then do the spot blacks with this. I have scrap sheets for inking, very important. I have a holder so that I can use this without it tipping. And this is just some sturdy board with this cutout, the center cutout, and then I pushed it through, and that is very important so I don't spill it because my desk is at a slant. Those are the tools that we'll be using. So to start this, we're going to do some samples and textures, and this will be the pens, microns, and Copics. So I have my pen, and we're just going to do straight lines, various lines of various weights or sizes, text to simulate textures and all of that. And then we'll do that again for the brushes. On this side, we'll see how many we can do and if we can fill out this whole sheet. And we'll do that as a way to get warmed up for inking season. And so we'll start, that video will be next week. But this is the base template that I have, little squares made for the textures. As for what we will be testing or working on for this inking season, we're going to be doing Lore of the Silverhand, a character that is my Wandering Warrior Conan equivalent. So each week we'll be doing one of these. So for one a week, testing out, line weights, spot blacks, the whole thing. So for the month of October, we'll be doing these one a week. So I took this image, transferred it over to paper, better paper, Strathmore, and then we'll be inking. And then finally, to end each video during inking season, I think I'll do a short artists that I thoroughly enjoy their work. I will go over how I'm studying from them. And so one thing I want to do is study inking with a nib, and inking with a brush, and inking with microns. So first, I want to try if there's any difference that I can see between inking with a nib or inking with, to start, a micron or a Copic. So I have this one, which I did with the nibs, all nib, all microns and Copics. And I want to see if there's any noticeable difference. So that's what I'm testing out here. Philip Tan is the artist for these two spiral, who's a character from the Marvel X-Men. Also, I have two Lokis. This is John Buscema's Loki, and this is Oliver Coipel. So two Lokis. Again, I'm trying to see whether inking with these two were done with just a pen. Microns, Copics, I did both of these. And then I'm going to try to do it with a nib next to see if there's any difference. So I'm testing my tools out in a real world setting to see what the difference is. So that is the plan for this year's inking season. So I have been Trey Hodges. You can find my work at treyhodges.com. Power to all the creators. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.